Hello, good day everyone, and now in this video we will talk about the Egyptian architectural characters. The primitive architecture in the valley of the Nile consisted of the readily available materials like reeds, papyrus, and palm branch ribs plastered over with the clay. With a bundle of stem placed vertically side by side and lashed the bundle placed horizontally near the top, wall or fences could be made. Alternatively, palm leaf ribs were planted in the ground at short intervals, with the other leaves in a diagonal network across them and secured to a horizontal member near the top, the whole being dealt with the mud afterwards. Egyptian gorgeous cornice is the characteristic produced by the pressure of the flat reeds and mud roof against the top of wall reeds.
Butter. One of the principal characteristics of Egyptian architecture, which was created by the manner of constructing walls that considers stability, which diminished course by course towards the top, shiftly, because of the alternate shrinkage and expansion of the soil caused by the annual inundation or flood. The inner face of the walls had to be vertical for ordinary convenience. It was the outer face only which showed inward inclination. Walls such as those around the Great Temple, enclosures very thick, between 9 meters or 30 feet and 24.5 meters or 80 feet. Egyptian columns have a distinctive character, and a very large proportion of them plainly advertise their vegetable origin. Shafts indicated of bundles of plant stems gathered in a little at the base. Capitals seemingly derived from the lotus bud and piptus flowers of the Vicatus palm. Egyptian monuments, columnar and trabeated style, expressed mainly in pyramids and other tombs and in temples.
The world's first skyscraper were tombs, and just like our own building, a product of centuries of engineering trial and error. Firstly, we have mastaba, meaning a house of stability, house of eternity, or eternal. A type of ancient Egyptian tomb with a flat roof, rectangular structure with inward sloping slides, covering a burial chamber below ground. In terms of its axis, it lays from north to south, while steps and ramps led from the north end of the mastaba. It is also a shaft that connects down to the tomb chamber. The southernmost part of the two recesses was a false door, allowing the spirit of the deceased to enter or live at will. As we all know, Egyptians believe in afterlife, and that is also the reason why they built this long-lasting tomb. And in front of it was a table for the daily offerings of fresh food, which bring us to the three parts of it. Firstly, we have the outer chamber, where offerings were placed. The serdab, the inner chamber containing the statue of the deceased member of the family, as you can see in the illustration. And thirdly, the underground burial chamber. It contains the sarcophagus, a stone coffin, reached by an underground shaft. Next is the pyramid, evolved from the mastaba, a massive funerary structure of stone and brick with a massive base of four sloping triangular slides meeting at the apex. Example of it is the pyramid of King Zoser or Iser. It is an oldest surviving masonry building structure in the world and considered as a step type of pyramid. It is a type of an architectural structure that uses flat platforms or steps that recedes from the ground up. They also saw it as a stairway to the stars. Next, you have the Pyramid of Sneferu, a 2 degrees of inclination slope, a bent-type pyramid. It appears bent because its slope changes at midway point. The lower part of it was built at an angle of 54 degrees and the upper part is at 43 degrees. Next, you have the Great Pyramid of Giza, or Cheops, the commonly known pyramid, equated to the size of St. Peter, Rome, and the slope-type pyramid. It is built in a solid foundation, laid the stones in horizontal rows, and precision cut the edges. Parts of the pyramid. Elevated causeway. It connects the pyramid itself to an external structure, temple or mortuary or such. Next is the offering chapel. Next, mortuary. Place of worship of a deceased king and the depository for food and objects offered to the dead monarch. Lastly, valley building or temple. Place of reception for royal body. Walls were solid and made up of mud, sun-dried mud bricks to be precise. They also used stones as foundations, and bricks were made up of Nile mud, mixed chopped straw, and sand. Its size is about 365 millimeter long, 178 millimeter wide, and 102 millimeter thick. Next is the rock cut tomb or rock-hewn tomb. It is called rock cut tomb because it is cut deep into the mountain rock and a type of serving for nobility rather than royalty.
One of the ancient Egypt architectural character is temples. Temples is a religious structure considered the horizon of divine being. It is constructed with stones. It is also a mirror of universe and a representation of the primeval mount where creation began. Each temple had a link to the past and the rituals conducted within its court were formulas handed down for generations. Egyptians focused their attention on temples. One of the temples are Temple of Ammon-Plan, Karnak. It was constructed with an outer courtyard, column courts which lead to halls and ritual chambers, and an inner sanctum which housed a god statue. Next, Temple of Hatshepsut. It told the story of the past, people lives, and honor gods. Last, the small temple, Abu Simbel. Its illuminated statue of Kamisi II and the god Ammon. Also, one of the architectural character is dwellings. Egyptians lived in a house made from mud bricks. The houses of the poor were made from the single walls, which were one brick thick, while those rich were made from the double thick walls to ensure increased security. Woods are not used in that time. Roofs are usually used in living space. The floors of the houses of the poor were made from beaten earth, while those of the rich were covered with mud tiles. Also, one of the architectural character is fortress. It's built to protect towns rather than to defend frontiers. Probably the first evidence of an Egyptian fortress is a pre-dynasty ceramic model of a building, discovered by Flinders Pettit at Aberdeen, which appears to show two men peering over a crenellated wall. The oldest surviving fortifications are the early dynastic settlements in Upper Egypt at Kom el Ahmar, Heracleopolis, and at El Kab. One of the fortresses is Buhen, an Egyptian fortress in Nubia. It's located on the west bank of the Nile in Lower Nubia.